Hello and welcome everyone. I am Linda Israel and thank you so very much for being here at my live stream on YouTube. I go live every Monday at 3:45 p.m. Central Standard Time unless I'm on vacation or something else comes up, but generally I'm live or I have a premiere video that you can come and watch. If you're watching this as a replay after the live stream has ended and you're on a computer, you can look for the little gear at the bottom of the screen and change the speed. If you're on a mobile device, generally the three little dots at the top, you can use those to change the playback speed to get through it a little faster, because generally my live streams last around 2 to 2.5 hours. I want to thank Robin for being my moderator and administrator and note taker throughout the live stream. She is generally my one right-hand woman, if you will, and I am so thankful to have her. She also is an administrator of the Friendly Junk Journal People Facebook group. Occasionally, if she's not available, one of the other administrators will come over and help me, or a friend will help me moderate the video today. If you have questions, please feel free to put those in all caps and I'll do my best to answer those questions. If I don't see it, please ask again. Or if you know the answer to somebody's question, please answer it. Hey, if you have a YouTube channel, please feel free to share with us by saying, hey, I have a YouTube channel and this is what I do on it. You won't be able to share a link, but you can at least talk about your YouTube channel. Let's keep the chat upbeat, friendly, and helpful. If you are having a great day, let us know. But honestly, we don't want the negative, what is going on in the world right now, because we are here to escape that, to be inspired, to be friendly, and have some fun. During the live stream, you have an opportunity to earn junk bucks. You can type !bucks to see how many that you have once Junkie Joe is up, because this is preliminary and I've pre-recorded this. Once you have 2,000 junk bucks, you can redeem those by typing a word and you can get a $10 off coupon to my shop. How do you earn junk bucks? Just by being here, chatting with us. So make sure that you speak up in the chat so that Junkie Joe registers that you're here, and by playing the in-chat games, and then also whenever you make donations. Occasionally I have raffles. In fact, right now there should be Junkie Joe coming up. You can type !raffle just as that says, and you can enter the raffle to win 200 junk bucks. If you make a donation during my live stream, do go over to my website at lindaisrael.com. You can see the name scrolling across the bottom here, and create a user account. Once you've created a user account on my website, make sure that you use the contact me form and say, hey, my name is on YouTube and I donated, and then I can get you added to the YouTube donator membership on my website. What does that do? Well, a member of my website in the YouTube donator membership gets 5% off orders in my shop, gets several digital downloads for free, and during the live stream when you donate, you get a chance to win the journal that I raffle off at the very end. Throughout the live stream, I will have different raffles giving away prizes. If you will type !raffle when you see those come up, then you can have a chance to win those items. We're going to get started here in just a moment. Thank you so much for being here today. When the video is over, come back and leave a comment. Tell me what you liked about today's video, or if you have questions and you're watching this as a replay, use that comment section down below. Also, look in the description box to links to the Friendly Junk Journal People Facebook group, as well as by Linda Israel, my Instagram, Twitter, my website, and generally I try to update the products that I use, and those links are in the description box as well. All right, well, let's get started.
I think we're live. Hello, hello, hello. So glad to have you here. I see Austin and Julie and Sheila and Robin, of course. And then I see Janet that just showed up. Hey, if you're here today, do speak up in the chat so I know who's here so I can give you a shout out. I want to thank you so much for coming and spending the time with me today. I think my camera may be tilted just a smidge. All right, that may be a little better. That's straight. How is everybody? I hope you had a great week, and I hope Robin is feeling better. She's feeling better enough to be here today. She had a birthday as well, so wish Robin a happy birthday. Happy belated Valentine's Day to everyone. Even if you don't have a significant other, you still can love yourself. You may have some friends or family that you can think about or tell that you loved. Hope you had a fabulous day. Let's see. I have collected a few things on my desk, not a whole lot, that I thought continuing on using up your scraps in the last few weeks. I have made some scrappy items like this journal card here, this side pocket with a journal card, and here is a journal card that has a pocket and another journal card on top of that. And here's some more that we're just layering some scraps of paper. This was wallpaper and a gel print. And of course, the heart was also a gel print. Used my rubber stamps. So I have a little bit of a collection started here. Let me get these out of the way for a moment. Let's see where I want to set these. I need to move stuff. Okay, got that out of the way. So today I thought we would do something same. Thank you so much, Jenna. Same concept, using up some scraps. I got a little pile of scraps over here. I generally, and I've got a book page here. My journals are 8.5 inches tall and then an 11 inches wide piece of a paper that's folded in half. So this would be a journal page right here. And I tend to prefer when I make my journals to make sure that there is functional writing space. Now you can put the writing space on top of your page. You could make a pocket and put the writing space in the pocket. You can make it a flip out, whatever you so choose. And so I thought I would just kind of show different ideas on adding writing space. And in the same time, I love that collage look where you have all these different pieces of paper that you put together. But a lot of times that collage look doesn't lend itself very well to a nice size of writing space. Maybe you'll have just a little bitty spot, but I like to have more. So I thought, well, maybe we'll do some collaging, and then that would become a pocket for the journal space behind it. Does that make sense? So with that said, I've got a book page that I want to use as my foundation. I hope I got the right book page. Let me make sure that's the right one. Yes. Yeah. So in the same concept in the past few weeks where I made, some people call it a master board or collage board, whatever it may be, we're going to use up a lot of the pieces that we have and see what we can do. All right. So I have here, this is from Norella's spring journal card collection that she has as a digital download. I've got the link in the description box below for these. She hasn't created a the book yet for Amazon. I may ask her about that to see if she can't put one together, because I love these images. She has them in what I consider a 5x7 image. So this one is 5x7, and then she has some that are artist trading card size, so they're smaller. So they are about 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So you get them in 2 different sizes when you get her digital download. And I picked out one of these. My thought was, this is such a beautiful image, but sometimes you don't want the whole image on a page. So I thought, well, what if I glue this down and then cut it up? So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I have some book pages and that are gel prints. I've got some scrapbook paper. I've got a variety of things here. So let me see what I want to do. I don't think that was long enough, but this one is. Pardon me. Trying to get on a couple things here. This will be good. And this purple. Okay. So here's one. Oh, I forgot to do that. I try to, when I can, go around my image with distress inks to see what I could do. Oh no, a big nasty lace on fixative spray. Journaled in my devotional diary. Drew a heart with pen pastel. Sprayed fixative on it to seal it. And the ink from the pen ran. Oh no! Oh, that's terrible, Julie. Here's what I will tell you about sometimes using fixative spray. Sometimes you should put the fixative spray on the page first and then use the pen on top of it, because what it'll do is it'll seal that together. So, oh, I'm sorry you're having problems with that. That's sad, because I'm sure you really liked whatever you wrote in your devotional today. All right, so what I want to do is I want to put this down. And I don't know that I want to, but I can. I guess I could go all the way to the top. But sometimes I like to add another piece of paper here. So, pardon me. My allergies are getting to me today. So I think I'll go ahead and just glue this piece down. It's a piece of scrapbook paper that was left over. And then I will butt this up to it and glue it down. And then basically I'm just going to fill in all the way around that, okay? All right, so let's go like this. I'm using Aleene's tacky glue to glue my papers down. And you want to make sure that you have enough glue that your paper is all the way adhered, because we are going to cut this and you don't want the edges to come up, especially if you are not going to take this piece to the sewing machine. Oh, I'm so sorry that that happens to you. Well, now you know a little bit about how to make a grungy background, as Sheila says. Well, you know what you should do, Julie, is get out your pens and find some paper similar to what's in your devotional and write in that pen the name of the pen. So, for example, I would say for a Rolly, and I would write that out on a piece of paper. And then I would do it with the next pen that you would probably use for journaling. And then I would test it with spraying it to see what happens. And then put that in your devotional as a little sample card. This is what happens when you use this pen. Use that as your bookmark. That way you'll know not to use that in your pen, in your book. Oh, you're working on a baby quilt for your great-grandson. Oh, how fun! Yeah, now you know how to make the pens run on purpose. That's for sure. Well, congratulations, Janet. I know you're excited about a great-grandson. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. And I hope you get to spend lots of time with them. All right, so I'm going to glue this piece down. So this is one of Norella's images. So again, I'm just kind of butting it up against the other piece of paper. I just loved these bright colors that Narelle used on these. Pardon me. All right, so I have, will this fit? I'll go that way. Maybe I'll put that up there. I will. Let's cut a strip. So I'll measure this. So this is approximately, let's do 1 1/4 inches. Let's see which is better. Let's just go this way. Just to kind of make a straight cut. So that would go up here. It may be too long, but that's okay. And I'm just going to kind of crease that where it ends, because I'm going to do a different piece over here. So I'm just going to cut off that excess. That's going to go right there. I will go ahead and add some distress inks to it. Now, using a ballpoint pen, yeah. You're very welcome. I'm sure you'll be sharing all the photos. What's everybody been doing? What have you been working on? Janet said she's working on a quilt for their great-grandson that's due any day now. What have you been working on? I spent a little bit of time yesterday doing some watercolored flowers and fussy cutting those out so I could have them to use in projects. Just going to line that up with the edge there. Okay, and I'll use my bone folder to help smooth that out. Okay, put my ruler out of the way. What's up, Hercules? I saw a moment ago I have a tall, skinny piece of paper. So I thought I would use that down this edge here. So again, I'm just going to zigzag some glue. This is a great way to use up those book pages by using those as your foundation. And then, of course, getting rid of the scraps. I think I've shared several times that I save my scraps in a bin or a kind of a Ziploc bag type thing inside of a box that I have put together so that I have them available by color. I'm going to go ahead and trim these off just so that it's out of the way. I can't quite see. Okay, there it is. I couldn't see the edge there. Of course, it does make a few more little scraps, but I'll have those to use on the next project, right? I've got some purple. I've got some bigger pieces. Maybe this will work like that. Kind of add some pieces in here. All right, so I'm going to first glue this piece down up here. And then I think I want to put this piece, but I'm kind of thinking maybe that I want a different color here. Oh, it's not quite wide enough, but if I go this way, I think I'll do that first. So I'm going to put this one up here. Okay. All right, did my computer freeze up? No, it's still going, but I don't see anything going on in the chat. So y'all out looking at stuff? Did my chat hang up? All right, so we got that piece. I have this piece, and then maybe that piece. I think I like that. Okay, I'm going to do this one. These were gel prints that I made, and I've used a portion of it, and I saved all the pieces. So now I'm trying to use them all up. I still have a basket that has some odds and ends. Okay, just watching me. Okay. Has some odds and ends that I haven't sorted yet. So I went through that really fast this morning and just grabbed the pieces that I thought would work really well with what I wanted to do today. Okay. There we go. Watching me. Got a boss fight going now. All right, flip this over and smooth this out. All right, so now I'm going to get my paper cutter again and cut these pieces off. So let's go this way first. It kind of helps when the paper is a different color to know where to cut it off. Okay. So now I've got several little pieces I could use. All right, then we're going to cut this piece off. All right, so now I've got this big piece here, but I want to cut it up. And I want to make it into a large pocket that will fit on my journal that is normally 8.5 by 5.5 if it's a page folded in half. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over here and cut it to about 5.25. That way there's a little bit of a edge all the way around. It doesn't go all the way out to the edge of the paper. And I'm going to test it to see if I need to trim it down some more. And this is pretty close, so I think that's good. So let's look at this one and go 5.25. This book page is almost the perfect size to be able to do this. Now see how that looks by cutting that apart? It's still pretty, even though you don't have the whole image, but you have all this variety on here. Hey, Amanda Dawn, hello, hello, hello. Okay, so now what I need is I'm going to get another book page. I know that Robin likes to use thicker paper for her journals. So if you don't have a lot of cardstock or heavyweight paper, use multiple pages of book pages. So that's what I'm going to do here. So we've already got 3 layers, or 2 layers here. We've got the image, the printed paper on a book page, and then I'm going to glue that into another book page. And then this is going to become the base for a large pocket to go on my journal. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right here. Come in just a little bit from the edge, and then I'll smooth this out. Okay. And the reason why I put another book page on it is those are going to be basically my tabs that when I glue this down as a pocket, I will be able to use the full width and height of my pocket. So if your paper isn't quite big enough to have a self tab, well, use another piece of paper, use another piece of book page or something like that. Do I use the hardbacks? I have an idea for hiding your junk with hardbound book edge. Oh, you know, I do use some of them, but not all of them, Sally. Sometimes the books get a little destroyed when I start to take them apart. Occasionally, some of them will work out okay. So, and this particular one, I haven't used all of the pages yet, but this one has a little bit of a cut through it, but then I have that portion of it. So I'm thinking what you're going to do is take all of those and glue them together and basically make a box front where you can hide stuff. I've seen other people do that. Mine usually get destroyed, but if you are wanting some of those, next time I see you, let me know, and I'll try to collect what I have that I'm not using. All right, so I've got that put together. I'm going to go ahead and trim off this edge just a smidge because I don't need it to be that long. So probably right about there. And I'll stick that in my box with my white papers. And I'll go ahead and do that again right about here. And cut that off. I'm stalling just a moment for that glue to dry because I'm going to go to the sewing machine. So sewing lamb. Gotcha, Sally. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because you're just probably going to take those pieces and glue them one on top of the other. Another idea for you, Sally, is to make faux ones. Is basically print something on your computer and put it together and make those look like they're books, but they're not. So it kind of depends. Most of what I have are going to say like Bible concordance, encyclopedia, and you're going to have redundancy. I will suggest, if you want, go to the Friends of the Metropolitan Library sale that's happening this weekend at the fairgrounds. Friday, you have to be a member to be able to go, so you can go to the Friends of the Metropolitan Library. Just Google that, and then you'll go to their website and you can sign up for their membership. I think it's like $15, and you get 2 tickets. I don't know if you sign up now, you probably have to go to Will Call to get your tickets at the day of if you want to go Friday, which is considered the pre-sale. Otherwise, it's free to go on Saturday and Sunday to the Friends of the Metropolitan Library book sale, and I think it starts, I want to say it's like 9 a.m. until like 5 p.m. those days until they run out of books or they decide they're done. All right, so I'm going to sew on these. So let's go over here to the sewing machine. Bah, the sewing lamb. Okay, we're a little, I'm going to move this just a smidge. Okay, that's better. And let's move my face. So I am using a regular sewing machine. I have set it up to be a zigzag stitch. I have black thread in the upper and the lower. And basically the key thing that I'm going to tell you, as I always do, hey Sherry, is you want to make sure that your glue is dry if you glued something together, okay? Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch on here. And I think I may run out of bobbin, but I have one already loaded, so all I have to do is just swap it. I'm going to stitch down over the seams where the pages are butt up against each other, and then I'll go around the outside edge and stitch. All right, so we'll come across here. So I just stitched those 2 spots, and now I'm just going to go all the way around the outside edge. Makes it easy to do this when you kind of plan it out according to what size you want to work with. So if you have a hard time measuring and you don't want to pre-cut a bunch of things, then basically start with a foundation that is close to what you want your end product to be, your project to end up being. And then when you start gluing everything down and you trim it just a little bit, it'll be the size that you want. Okay. I'll go ahead and do the other one as well, and then we'll decorate and add to this layer. So if you go to the Friends of the Library book sale, then what you could do is determine what height you want all of your books to be for your little thing that you're going to put on your shelf, and you can buy only those books that meet that criteria that you like the titles of. And if you don't want the guts of the books, you can just give them to me. I have found that as I tear up books, that it works out better for storage for me to keep those book pages in the cover until I use them all up. Otherwise, I end up with these random book pages everywhere, which I have been going through my stash slowly and reorganizing, and now I've got basically a drawer that I'm putting them all in that are loose, that will fit in there. That way I know where they are, and I'm not trying to look for random pages all over my craft room. Okay, I think, did it run out of, come on. Well, it's not out yet, but I think I'm going to go ahead and swap it with my other bobbin. Okay, that back in here. And then I need to re-thread my machine. I just noticed that it popped out. Sometimes that happens. Okay, that back there. Okay, so I did that one. All right, so we need to go this way. If you don't have a sewing machine, you could always just draw faux stitches or even just lines around the perimeters to give it that look that they have a divider on them. I am going ahead and cutting the thread as I get to the edges because I like when the thread sticks up a little bit. All right, go down this side. And then this side. So now I've got that piece all stitched around. Stitch by stitch. Okay. Slide these all over for a moment. All right, so now I have these two pieces, and the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to cut off the corners. I get my little scraps over here. I've got a little bin that I'm trying to put them in. Okay, so these scraps I don't keep, so I'm just going to cut the corners and then fold these to the inside, and then this is going to become a large pocket to go on a journal page. Cut this one. Okay. Get rid of that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is fold these in, making them even as best as I can with the edge. And I like to wait until I know how I'm going to use this pocket, if it's going to be a side load or a top load, before I commit to which one to glue down on my pocket here. So that's why I went ahead and left all 4 sides. So if I was going to make this a top load pocket, I would glue down this tab, and then my journal card would fit right in the front there. Set that right there for a moment and do this one. My thought was doing a few of these ahead of time to go into a journal might be handy to have. So I'm just kind of creating some of those, even though this went, you know, is that the same flower? Yeah, it's the same one. I've got some others that I made. So here is a couple others that I made earlier. Same concept. I just cut the image apart. Okay, so I've got several sets here ready to go. Now I want to decorate the top of this by adding some little elements on it, and then of course we'll make a journal card to go inside. Okay, I don't know if that'll work or not. Sometimes you gotta audition items to see if you like them. I didn't like that one, but I do have some other images. Like this is a dog rose image rubber stamp that I made that I thought would look kind of interesting on there. And then let's see, I've got one that's I have one that's lavender that we could put over here. And then I have some of these smaller images, and I don't know if I want to use them or not. So I was going to kind of see, that kind of blends into the other layer. Do we want to use those? Maybe like that. I don't know. I'm auditioning right now. See, we have to audition to see if it's something that we like. Another thing I could do is make a pocket to put something on. And I'm kind of thinking, I saw this earlier, so maybe I wonder if that was framed with this purple and then put on there, how would that look? Kind of give us a different layer. I kind of like that. And then my other thought was to layer that onto a pink and maybe even make an additional pocket on top. Why not? So I'm going to first cut this piece where it's just a little bit larger than the foundation. Or the image. So that one would go right about there. And then I'm going to do this one the same way. Just kind of, this was a gel print that I made. So even though the gel print itself is just kind of bleh, it didn't really, you know, the image is there, but not really. Well, I'm going to use it as a base for a mat to another image. Oh, I didn't mean to do it that way, but that's okay. I think I'm going to do, let's look at this and see. I'm going to use that pink to make a mat. So let's make that 3 inches. And then make this maybe, is it 4 1/4 or 4 inches? Let's do 4, like that. I think something like that. And then this piece, let's see what I have here, if this will work. I don't want to use the same purple. I think I want something different. I have this blue. Why don't we use this? It's just a scrap, so might as well use it. Okay. So now I have these pieces to use on the page like that. What do you think? This one is a little bit kind of blending into the page, isn't it? So what if I double mat it? Is there enough width there to give it a secondary mat? If I trim that down just a little bit. I'm trying to decide if I like that. That gives a little bit of a mat. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim this piece down just a smidge. And then that way, when I go to put it on the purple, then the purple would shine a little better, but yet be smaller than that one. So I'm just kind of matting that to see how it looks. There we go. Now, if I put this one down, we have options. Oh, why are you losing me? That's not good. I'm right here, Julie. All right, so let's add some distress inks to these pieces. And I think we'll glue these all together. We could also add some more stitches. What do you think? Should I add some more stitches? Yeah, leave some breadcrumbs so you don't get lost, Julie, and you can find your way back. Okay, we'll do this one. And this one. Okay, let's glue these together. I know that this is a acrylic paint gel print. Stitches are always good. Okay, then we're going to do some stitching. So I'm getting the sewing lamb out. We're going to do some more sewing here in just a moment. So first, I'm going to glue these pieces together using a little bit of my Fabri-Tac glue. Now, I put some acetone in this earlier, but I forgot to clean out the nozzle. So it'll take it a moment for that acetone to get down there. All right, put that right here. I'm going to lay this over on my sewing machine because I know I'm going to stitch that. Then I will glue these together. Usually acetone dries pretty quick. Hey, Connie, welcome, welcome, welcome. So put that right in the middle. I had this kind of an ivory little text weight paper that's kind of textured in my stash, and I was trying to figure out how to use it all up, and I spent the day one day a while back and stamped a bunch of my apothecary stamped images or rubber stamps onto it, and then colored them with some watercolor pencils. So it was kind of handy to have a little stash of these to be able to use them. And just smoothing that out. So I'm going to put that over here to be sewn. Let's do this one. Again, because I'm gluing to the acrylic page. I could just go ahead and use a little bit of the Aleene's tacky glue and know that I'm stitching over the top of it. But I wanted to make sure it was going to be all one piece. I like the way that dark purple turned out. All right, let's use some Aleene's tacky glue on this one because this is just scrapbook paper. And I'm not trying to go all the way to the edge since I know I'm going to be stitching it down. Okay, so let's take these over to the machine and stitch. All right, so I'm going to start with this one since it was the first one that I glued together. And I'm going to stitch just around this outside edge, catching that edge and stitching over it. I think it kind of gives it a little bit more definition to the project when you stitch like this. But again, if you don't have a sewing machine, you don't sew, you could also take a black pen and draw a line around that outside edge if you want to define it a little better. You could also mat it with some dark paper if you wanted to define those edges a little bit more. So that's how it looks with the stitches. Put that up here. And then this one. I'm trying to decide if I want to put a card coming from the top, make this a top load pocket, or if I want to come from the side. I'm kind of thinking from the side. Okay, I'm going to position that. Oh, let's do this one first since it got. I'm going to just do the inside one. Using up all these scraps. And if you don't have the right color to make the frame or mat that you're going to put on the mold, then stop for a moment and grab that scrap of paper and add the color that you want. You can use acrylic paint, you can use Powdered Angel's Glimmer Mist, you can use an ink pad, you can use watercolor paints, you could use a marker. So if you've got those pretty alcohol or water-based markers, you could use those because I've done that when I've needed it. All right, so now we've done that one as well. All right, so we're going to go back over here to our main view. And I'm thinking that I'm going to put this one here and put this one up here. And then this one, I'm going to make it a load that way. And this one, we're going to make it load from the top. And over here, I'm going to come this way. I'm going to swap the direction of these. Move that one over here. And then this one would come from here, and that would come from the top. Does that make sense? So what I want to do now is, do I want to put gussets, or do I just want to glue it down on the top and the bottom and then just measure here, keeping my journal card small enough? So in this case, it needs to not be any bigger than probably 3 inches. in order to get the card all the way in. So let me see something. I have some pre-cut cards here. Where did I see those? Here's some. Now these may be too small. Let's see. So it would go almost all the way in. I do have some 4x4s that I could just trim down a little bit and make them come out of this. I could also make this not a full pocket, but more like a tuck spot so that it's down a little bit further. It does cover up our image in the background, but I kind of like that idea maybe. Then it would keep, we don't cut down that piece of cardstock, because that's what this is cardstock. So I'm kind of thinking like that. And then those are too short, but I have some of these. Let's see how that looks. That would go there, and that could go there. So I can make these a little top load, and they'll stick out just a little bit out the top. What do you think? Kind of make it like that? Poke, poke, nudge, nudge. All right, y'all enter the raffle if you haven't already. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's put these back. It comes in handy when you can put papers according to size together, so you can use them. These are blanks mostly, or bases of things, so that I can use those. All right, y'all into the raffle. Now I'm trying to decide, do I want to add something to these pieces? And I think I do. I think what I want to do is let's spray these with Tattered Angels and stencil on them. So I need to clean my papers out of here, but I think for now I'm just going to lay those in here, and let's grab a stencil. Okay, I have my, trying to get it out of the little, I have my Retro Panel 4 stencil. Now, what color of Tattered Angels should we use? I'm going to grab my gloves while I think about that. Y'all into the raffle if you haven't already. Okay. Get one more glove. Because my luck, I'll get it all over me. And this way it keeps from going up under my ends of my fingernails. I have this one that's called Dragonfly. It's kind of a deep turquoise color. I don't really want to use that one because it will not lend itself well to writing over the top of it. Yeah, Norella says, or Norella, where are you? Robin says blue. So I've got this one. This is from the Musical Botanica Dynamics. It's a blue. So I'm thinking this one. Hopefully it hasn't sat too long. Okay, that'll work. And I'm just going ahead and spray the whole thing. And I think what I'll do is see if I have, well, I have that, but I think I'll just grab some copy paper. And I will lift any ink or paint that's on here. You know what? We're going to use that. So I'm going to set this aside to dry. So there's how it turned out. And here it is on these pieces. That back over here. Take my gloves off. I already used my gloves. I'm cheap, I know. I'm frugal. All right, so I'm going to dry these really fast with my heat tool. Okay, y'all ready for the raffle? I think Junkie Joe is done. Oh, no one won the FFA. Glitter Boss wiped the floor. Oh, I guess it was the boss fight. The boss fight. I'm just drying it from both sides. Okay. Let's add some distress inks to those. And I think let's round the corners so it kind of gives it that finished card look. So I've just got my corner chomper, corner rounder, whatever you may have. I have got a few of those handheld little punches, but they hurt my hand. I don't know how some of y'all use those all the time. Since I have the bigger mechanical punch, corner punch, I like it so much better. Alright, so I'm just adding a little bit of distress ink on these. Okay. My thought was this would go here on this one when I glue it down. And this one would go over here when I glue that one down. I could make a little tab. Where did I see those? Here. That says notes. What do we think? Does something like that on there, maybe? We could possibly add maybe a piece of fabric. I think I've got my fabric around here somewhere. I've moved it. Oh, there it is. Okay. I've been moving things, so I'm still trying to navigate where I move things to. All right, let's do something with these. And let me pick the winner of the raffle. That works. You like that? Okay. So let's pick the winner of the giveaway. And the winner of 200 junk bucks is da-da-da-da, Janice Brammer. Congratulations, Janice. I'll get those added to your account. And then I believe Robin has a goodie pack. Goodie pack from Robin. So I'm going to do that as the next giveaway. So y'all enter, and you know, Robin likes to put some really cool things in a goodie pack. So if you haven't received one of those, know that it is usually a really good treat and you will enjoy what you get from her. All right, so I will go ahead and let's glue down these two pieces so they're ready to go. So I'll move that out of the way for a moment. And so that was even some trash paper that I had used for my gel printing. Just go ahead and add some glue to the edge there. And I'll bring it down as far as I can on the page, or the pocket in this case. Let that dry. And then this piece is going to go here. So maybe a piece of fabric. Okay, one now, one later. All right. Okay, Robin's going to be doing two. So we're going to do one now and one later. Thank you, Robin, for sharing from your stash. Your creative items. All right, so I'm just smoothing that out. I think I want some fabric, so let me get my little fabric. A while back, Henry saved these for me. These came with almond bark in them. And Henry said, yeah, I think you could use these. It's like, I don't know if I can or not. And so he saved them for me. And I found that I like, these are my dyed fabric, but I use Tattered Angels. And then I have some that are just regular fabric. I think I have one more that I haven't used yet. So I got 4 of these. So let's see what we have that might work well on here. Maybe I've got this really dark purple. I wonder if that would work. It's kind of an odd shape, but what if we were to put that and then put that behind there, and then when you put it in here, that purple kind of ties it together. Now I don't want it to come all the way past my pocket here too far, but I think that'll work. So let me get my, where'd they go? Uh-oh. What did you do with my fabric scissors, Linda? There they are. So I'm going to trim this off. Sometimes I'll trim it and I'll save it. I don't know. You know, you never know. I'll just put it in my scraps. So let's line this up. So that will go on here. And then we'll do that one more time. Thank you, Julie. All right, so this one will go here. Now, I'm thinking that maybe what I'll do is put a piece of fabric on the tops of these. Let's distress them real fast. And do we want to use a pink this time, since we have the purple already on the page? I have this pink. I'm thinking maybe that pink as a little tab on there. Okay, I'm just going around the edges of these 2 cards. That over. I think just a little smidge of that on the top there, maybe. I think that would look good. All right, so I'm going to roll this back up. I found that if I roll up these little strips, that it's easier for me to manage them. Do you have a way that you like to store your scraps of fabric? Now, do I want to make this a little ruffle? Let's make that a little ruffle. So what I'm going to do is put this sideways. Let's put a little bit of glue here. And then grab this end and kind of push it into the glue into a little ruffle. Kind of using my fingers there. Then I'll trim that off, and then I'll stitch that on my sewing machine. So we're going to go to the sewing machine here again just a moment. Okay. Okay. And then I'll roll this back up, put it back in my little storage. I haven't decided how I want to continue to store these. Right now, I've just got this Ziploc bag that I've stuck them in. And I have more fabric. This is just some that I keep right here by my desk. And my goal is, as I rearrange, that I have a dedicated spot for those so it's easy to find. I find that if I don't keep things within reach, I don't use them. So if you're like me, you want to use them, one way to do that. Okay, what just happened to my card that I just made? Did I put it in the envelope by mistake? Did it go back in here? Where'd it go? Oh, it's on the sewing machine. Duh. Linda is having a duh moment. It's on the sewing machine. Let's sew. Okay. Jiminy Christmas. Just adding a few stitches to the top. So now we have that stitched upon. And I think what I want to do is glue these together. So I'm going to put a generous amount of glue on here and glue that to the fabric right in the middle. And then we're going to glue the fabric and the word onto the card. Oops. Get me a little. So I don't mess it up later. I don't know that it needs stitching on there. If you want to add it, you could. But that's going to go here. I will go ahead and glue this piece down. Making that a pocket. Putting it right about there. And this is going to go in the pocket there. And this one should be dry now, so it can go right there. Okay. Glue this one down. And since I put that one over here, I'm going to put this one over here as far down as I can get it without it interfering with that other pocket. And then this piece is going to go up here. So let me glue this together so we can put it in the pocket. Alrighty, we're getting lots of little embellished items here, using up all my scraps. This right here. Smooth it out, smooth it out. Okay, so that will go in here like that. And then these are going to go in the pocket, sticking out the top. Trying to ease that into the pocket so that it doesn't get glued into place. Just want to lay it right here for now. Okay, what else could we put on there? We've got a little space here and here that we could add some more embellishment. Let's see what I have here. I've got a couple of these little faux postage stamps. I know I saw this one. So I could put that right there. I thought I saw another one. Here's a little bee we could put over there. Maybe down a little bit lower, like that. Just kind of adding a little bit to it. Let's glue those down. All right, so this one, that feels like a real gel print, not a photocopy. So I'm going to glue this down with my Fabri-Tac glue. This is my butterfly postage that I've watercolored. Use watercolor pencils and then use my water brush to color. Okay. I think that looks good. Since I got the glue out, I might as well just use it over here. So we used some fabric. We've used some faux postage. Got my bee post over here. I have my words. Let's see if there's a word that we like. Oh, here we go. Maybe I've got a few little words that I pre-stamped earlier. I've got beauty. That might be pretty up there. And I've got oh, I wish I would have put it in the other direction, be post, and put be happy, but we'll do it the opposite anyway. I need to stamp some more. It looks like this one is running low. All right, let's glue those down. Okay, so now what I need to do is make a journal card that's going to go in the pocket. This page is a pocket page, so I need some way to make a card, right? That's a gel print, so I need to get a different bottle that I can put some of my Fabri-Tac glue in that's easy to squeeze. And I saw someone was using the icing bottles. I don't know how well they work. Of course, I guess if they're inexpensive enough, if they don't work very well, you can throw them away and get a new one. I think this might be dry enough now. That one goes down deeper than this one does, which is okay. It comes right to the edge with the fabric sticking out. All right, so I've got an oversized postcard here. Let me find another one. So I've got two of them. So let's cut these down. Happy bee, not be happy. Right. Happy bee. All right, so since my pockets are approximately 8 1/4 inches tall by 5 1/4 inches wide, how about if we make a 8-inch, 8-inch tall. I'm just laying a couple of these postcards on top of each other. And then 5 inches wide. So I've got a couple of these cards. You know, you can keep these pieces. I guess you could use them for a belly band if you want. I don't know. Sometimes I keep them for a little while and then I end up throwing it all away. So my thought was, I've got these two pieces. Why not make another little collage layer on here? I could cheat. I have some that I made earlier, and I could cover that, or we could just use up some of the scraps I have laying here, or even find a bigger piece. Maybe that's what I'll do, because I think I saw, I did. I have these. These are a digital download that I offer in my shop, where I have made the mixed media background, gel print, and then I scanned them into my computer. So if you do butterfly digital, you should get these to come up. So I'm thinking just gluing Do I want the pink or the purple? So we have the pink, or do we want the purple? I'm kind of thinking maybe the purple one. All right, so I'm going to put the pink one away. And what I will do is flip these over and glue them down on the back side. You like those? All right, so I'm just going to glue this down. Okay. I'll go ahead and line it up with the corner here. That way when I trim it, I just trim it right at the edge. Okay. Scrappy bits, go over here out of my way, please. Okay. Then let's do this one. I'll just go over to the edge. Smooth that out. Ah, thank you, Robin. You found it. Or, well, you found the butterfly digital. Because I have several. Okay, so let's trim this down. My mother-in-law has been saving postcards for me. Henry saves postcards for me. So I have a few to choose from. So it's a good way to use up this junk mail. Alright, so that is one side of the card. And then I thought I saw... Where did it go? Do we want to create a journal space like that? I have one that's already distressed. I know it's here. Like so. I could trim this one. I think I need to trim that one down. I have a paper punch somewhere that we could use to make a tab at the top. So let me grab that. Where is it? Ah, there it is. So maybe we'll use that guy. And I have a piece of purple cardstock here. All right, so this I want to trim down just a smidge. What is this? This is, come on, can't get a hold of it. 4 1/4. I'm just going to trim it down. And we can add some distress inks to that. All right, so that would go here and here. So let's go ahead and add some distress inks to the card base. Kind of covers up that white edge. This is some coffee dyed linen paper that I've had the linen paper for a really long time, so I'm trying to use it up. If I put that here, put this one over here. I think what I'll do is turn this over and put this in. Can I get 2 on this? I don't know if I can. Maybe. All right, so I'm just going to try to get it close enough to the edge. And I find that if I use an acrylic block over the back of it and stand up, I get a better punch. So there's one. Let's just flip this over and do it again. Okay. And I'll put the purple piece back in my purple scraps. I have my boxes lined up here behind me. Okay. I think I want to stamp on these pieces. I'll get a hold of them. Let's move these up out of the way for a moment. And I have the henna rose. So I'm going to use it. I like it. It's on my desk already. I don't have to dig it out. Thank you so much, Janet. That's one of my digital downloads. All right, so I'm going to stamp that here. And stamp it here. And I'll do that again. So if I put this on here, and you can still see the paper behind it, I think that would look really pretty. I can stitch that on there, and then my thought was, since I made this earlier, I would stick it on the back, and that would give us writing space on both sides, and we could add some embellishment up here at the top. Right? So let's glue this down. Put my glue up where it goes. Okay. I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll stitch this in the middle, so it'll give it that frame. Or I can just glue the back on and then stitch around the outside edge. Give me your feedback while I prepare. Stitch around just the coffee dyed paper or stitch around the outside edge. All right. Now these, I'm trying to decide if it would interfere too much to have these coming out the top. So you would kind of see it there at the very top. Or if it would be better if it came out on the side to make it a side load. I think I'm going to make it a top load. All right, so let's add some distress inks to the tabs so they're prepared. Go ahead and get these smushed. Smushed. It's a technical term when we smush. Now go ahead and do both sides. Okay, so that would go up there. All right, y'all didn't answer me, so I don't know if I should go ahead and glue the blue paper on the back and then sew around the outside edge. That's probably what I'm going to do. I think I may just do that and not worry about the frame here. Okay, so I'm going to take these pieces, flip this over. I'm going to get my fiber tack glue out, and we're going to put glue on the back side of our postcard. Yeah, now it's flowing much better. You need to check out, see what's new, Janet. I have a few new stamps in the shop. Okay, let's do this one. Sometimes these postcards will be somewhat visible on the other side. If you don't like that, then you could cover the postcard with a book page first and then glue the other paper on top, and you won't see the writing on the postcard through your other paper. I'm hoping that because I used a stencil that it won't be near as visible if I had not. All right, let's trim this down, and then we're going to go to the sewing machine again. So I'll get out the sewing lamb. He's going to get his workout today. And we're going to just do one at a time. So we're going to do this one. And we'll trim off this side. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Trim off this one. Okay. Trim off this one. I'm thinking I'll go ahead and glue the page tab on, and then when I stitch, I'll stitch through the bottom of that tab, and so it'll be really secure. Thank you, Janet. Janet's already knowing. Bah! Got the sewing lamb. All right, let's line this up here. Put that here. Put something heavy on it for a moment. Okay. Line that up here. Put that there. I'll flip this over. Oh, I didn't get it centered very well, did I? Well, it's down now. Okay, so let's add some distress inks to this side. I should have done it before I put the tab on, but that's okay. This will be a nice, sturdy journaling card. I'm trying to decide what I want to put on the back side. If I were to put that on after we stitch, that might be kind of pretty. I've got one that's a little bit darker. I'm going to lay those out there. Let's go ahead and stitch around that outside edge, which will secure all these outer pieces together, and then we'll add some more decoration to this piece. All right, sewing machine again. Here we come. I'm going to start at the top and just go around the outside edge. I like the way the stitches help pull this all together. Because I think I say that every time I do stitching. What are y'all reading or what are you watching right now? Do you have a favorite book or a television or movie that you like? I occasionally like to re-watch movies or television shows that I've already seen while I'm crafting, because if I've already seen it, I'm not tempted as much to stop and watch the show. I can continue on crafting. And then I've been reading a little bit at night before I go to bed. Not very much, like maybe a chapter or wherever there is a break in the chapter, because one of the books I'm reading right now kind of has a symbol that it'll put to kind of indicate this is a break in the thought. And then I'll stop there. So I'm not reading a whole lot, but I'm reading some. Probably like 15 minutes or so. Okay. Top level chef. Oh yeah? Are they showing you how to cook? Okay, I like those. And then this is what the other side would look like. So, let's see. What do I want to do? I have some flowers. I have that type of a flower there. I've got a purple one. I think that one blends in really well with the other. Let's see what else I have here. I have a butterfly, if we wanted to use the butterfly instead. I may use the butterfly. I think I have the words, "Don't forget to fly." I think I have a second one of those. Here it is. I think that's what I put on that side. And then I saw, where did it just go? Oh, here it is. Somewhere I saw that. Don't forget to fly. So what if we were to put that right here? I got two of those. Put one right there. Yeah, maybe. You like the butterfly? Okay. Robin spoke up. She has spoken. She likes the butterfly. All right, I'm going to glue those together then. Glue them down. So since I did fussy cut around the antenna of the butterfly, I'm trying to put a little bit of glue on there to help place it so it doesn't get torn off when we're removing our card from the pocket. All right, let's place that kind of up here at the top, like so. You love all things butterfly, Janet says. Maybe kind of in the middle. Since we basically covered up the butterfly that was on the background paper, I know it's there. And because I've told you that it was there, you know it's there. Okay, I like that. Let's do that again. I don't know why, but for some reason I prefer to make things in pairs because I feel like I'm getting twice as much done. I don't know. Maybe it takes more time to be able to create two at the same time. What are your thoughts? Is it easier just to create one thing and move on, or do you like to do it in multiples? I almost dropped that glue side down, but thankfully I did not. Put my block on there for a second. Get a drink of water. Okay, let's flip these over. Now, my thought was to put like this in the corners, so you have a place to journal around it, and it just adds a little pop of color on this side. Another thing that I could do instead, I thought I had another one of these. Let's look. Oh, there it is. I have this rubber stamped image that I could put in the corner. Could also get some words. So let's see what we have. How about Destiny is Calling? Like that. Which do you think is better? You're a one and done person, never seem to use the multiples or pre-made items. Gotcha, Sheila. You do multiples up to 5 at a time, Sherry? Awesome. 2 is your favorite number, so you create in 2s also? Gotcha. Well, and it kind of depends, you know, if you are only making things for yourself, I get it. You wouldn't want multiples of it unless it was just too cute that you have to have 2 of them. But if you are someone that likes to give gifts to others, that might be a way to do it. Maybe you make 2 journals. You can make one for yourself and one to give away. So it just kind of depends upon what you like to do. All right, so watercolor flowers. So the stamped flowers or the digital image, Sheila. So I will put this one back. And I will put this back as well. Okay, put that over here. Need more water. Got to stay hydrated. Okay. Got hot all of a sudden. I think the heater just turned on, and I'm trying to figure out why, because it's hot outside. I may need to go turn the heater off. Down, I guess. Lower temperature. The stamped flowers! Okay, Sheila. All right, let's do the stamped flowers. I got an answer. Stamped. 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 Sheila and Sherry says stamped. All right, we're going to do it. I'm going to also stamp in the corner behind here. So I have this stamp that I made. I haven't added it to my shop yet because I figured y'all probably have your own. It's just some funky text that I have. And I thought it might just give it a nice little background. Oh yeah, I think I like that. Okay, let's do it again. It's not hot outside, it's just warmer. It's hot outside. It's 68 degrees. That's hot. Thank you so much, Janet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's put that right there. That might be upside down. I don't know. It's just weird text. It's back up here. All right, let's glue these down. Robin says, it's not hot outside. Well, I have my thermostat set on 69. That's when the heater comes on. Is 69. And I think it says it's 68 outside. And I have the back door open outside. No, 90 is hot. Oh, well, no, that's unbearable. 90 is unbearable. Good to see the sunshine today. I agree with that. All right, let's put this down. So we still have writing space. We didn't cover it up. Let's do that again. Okay. 90 is just unbearable. And we'll do this. Yeah, it was pretty outside today, either way. Even Oreo went out all on his own to wander around. Even though he's blind and he can't see, he went out. I'm just trying to make sure that that is adhered and not any glue sticking up or sticking out from behind it. Okay. These are the flax rubber stamped images that I've watercolored. And then this is Destiny is Calling. And this is my artillery. Is it artillery? Or, oh, I forgot which butterfly this is. It's a new butterfly stamp that I've added to my shop. And then this was the henna rose. Okay, so these are going to go in here like that. So you would have the little tab here to pull them out of the back. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down. Get that smoothed out. Okay. Make sure there's not any glue. So then this guy would go in here and kind of stick out the top just a smidge. So it's just barely there. Okay. And then let's do this one the same way. Okay. Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, he does. He'll go outside by himself if you leave the door open so he can do it on his own. He likes to go outside when the weather's pretty. Hercules doesn't like to go outside if the weather is rainy and cold. All right, so there are those two. What do you think? So the concept is if you had a journal page that you would adhere this down onto your page. So that's what you would come to in your journal. And you would have a pocket from behind. And then you have these little pockets here and here. I like it. I like how it turned out. I think I have time to maybe decorate one more. So we'll set that aside. I was thinking of, hey, you know what? I need some smaller pockets. So let's, I've got these that were already made earlier, and I think I want to coordinate with the heart journal cards and make some pockets. So what if, kind of like the way this one looks, I made a pocket out of part of this. Is that too matchy-matchy? I have this one as well that I can make a pocket to go with. I think that's what we'll do. We'll do those. So I know that my journal pages are generally 5.5 inches. So if I make this pocket 5 5 1/4. And I'm going to cut this in half. This is a taller journal card. So, do I want to cut this basically right in half so it'll be a tall journal card and it would cover up this portion of it? Or do I make it where I do maybe 3 out of there? I'm kind of thinking maybe if I make this 4, how big is this? This is 8.5 inches tall. So if I make this 4 1/4 inches, that's basically how tall that would be. So this would be covered up to about there. Can you see that on my paper cutter? Or I can move it down and maybe cut it to be, let's see if I can get this lined up, not too far, where it's 2, which might make this floppy, but I can make it 2.5 inches and get a couple of them out of it. I think that's what I'll do. Let's make this 2.5. You like to match but not blend? You love matchy matchy, Julie says. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. I think that'll be good. All right, so we're going to go to the sewing machine in a moment, and I'll stitch where I cut the edges. Let's do that again with this one. Do I want to do it that way? Yeah, I hate to cut off, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. All right, so I'm going to cut this off. And then I'll cut this at 2.5 inches. And then cut this at 2.5 inches. All right, we'll go to the sewing machine and we'll stitch around these as well. You love the heart? Yeah. Okay. So I got these 4. Wait, let's add some distress inks to those before I stitch them. I think I could get away with just stitching on this edge, on that one. And I'm going to do these. Okay. I put something different on top, Julie? That's what happens. I switch it around. Okay, let's go here and go to sewing lab, sewing cam. All right, so I'm just going to stitch inside here. My pressure foot over here. My power pedal. So I'll save that one. And then I've got this one here. Let's go here. So even those gel prints that you're like, eh, that's not that pretty, cut them up into smaller pieces, they turn into some new element that way. You can use them for more than what you would have to begin with. Okay, so there's that one. Let's do that again over here. Okay. I'm just a stitching away. Okay, got a couple more left. Let's go here. these are going to look really good. I think I'm going to do this. Make it look like I did it on purpose. I think next week I'll be working on a journal. I have an accordion fold journal, and I kind of consider it to be an infinity accordion fold, in that when you flip through it and you end at the, what it would be the back or the last page, you actually flip it over and you go through it again. Thank you, Janet. Yeah, the time has gone by quick, won't it? It goes by fast. Well, hey, Rhonda, how are you, lady? Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, y'all get in on the raffle because Robin has graciously donated a goodie pack that she will ship out. So y'all get in on that. All right, so my thought was, I've got all these pieces now. I've got these bigger ones, and I'm kind of thinking that, I don't know, do I want to cover up the love yourself, or do I want to make it to where you can slightly see it like that? Let's see here. I'll put this one over here maybe. Or will I do this one? Let's do this one. And then I have these two. Just kind of slide some stuff over out of the way. One up there, one up there. And we have these. Maybe one like that. Oh, well, that works out because this is the same pattern. Now, do I want it on the same side, or do I want to flip it over like that? I think that's what I'm going to do, is like that. All right, so then let's put something on the actual pocket itself. I do have more hearts. Where are those? I have a smaller heart. We could put that one there. I have this one that could go there. And then I have a little pink heart that could go there. And I have a different pink heart. What do you think? Maybe put the hearts down? Maybe. Just maybe. I have a little purple daisy. Or I have a blue daisy. Kind of a purpley pink. Maybe what we'll do is put the blue over here, since we kind of used the blue there and there. You like the daisy? Okay. And then I know I have another daisy here because I made a bunch of them. Daisy, Daisy, where are you, Daisy? I've got this lighter pink, so I'm going to go with the lighter pink on here. And I don't know if we'll use them, but I have some little green leaves that we could put. I stamped a bunch of them so I could use them. Blue, blue. Daisy makes it pop. Something like that. Maybe this will go over here. I could rotate this so that they're all going the same direction. Huh. Put it this way. Like that. You like that? Is that better? Okay. Let's put these. Oh, well, I have these, and I'm thinking maybe what I'll do is make these pockets that you would use this way on a journal page. And even though I don't necessarily have cards that go in them, in theory, for example, this could go in that pocket. So I could put a 4x4 in there. Oh, look here. Looky there. I have these. Let's see which one works better. I'm thinking maybe this could go in here. Yep. All right, there we go. It worked out. I'm going to use them all. All right, so now what I want to do is decorate these two. So let's look at the flowers and the hearts that I have here. I have this really dark blue heart. I could put it at the bottom. And I have a bright pink flower. My off camera, can you even see that, y'all? Okay, I think I like that. Then I want some more green leaves, which is different than green sleeves. Something like that. Yeah. You like the leaves? The leaves kind of help, don't they? Kind of just add a little bit more. All right, let's go in here. You're getting hungry? I'm getting hungry, Julie. I didn't eat a lunch today. I need to go to the grocery store and buy me some lunch items. Okay, so I need to clear away some of this mess. It's getting in my way. Try to clear it away a little bit all in one swoop. There we go. Set it up here. Okay, let's glue that all together. We can even add some words to them if we so choose. So we kind of spread these out. I've already added some distress inks to them. I tried to, when I fussy cut them, to go ahead and add the distressing to them. Some people like to wait because they want it to match the rest of their project. Maybe they are going to use a blue or a pink distress ink. I know that Janet likes to do that occasionally, don't you, Janet? Okay. That down. I think that looks pretty good, doesn't it? All right. Glue this one down. So again, I used some of my gel prints and mixed media papers and cut out some hearts. I've traced some of them. Some of them I have a die, and I die cut them. I think I'm going to lay my block on here for now to help glue that, get that to adhere. All right, y'all get in on the raffle. I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to do the raffle of the goodies that Robin has graciously agreed to donate. that'll be the last thing we do here as I'm finishing up these pockets for these journal cards that I made last week. Having chicken salad sandwich for supper? Yum. I haven't made chicken salad in a while. Of course, you're in the hot season, so that's a nice, refreshing dinner. We are in the cold season here in the United States, and so Henry made spaghetti last night. My father-in-law went hunting, and here in Oklahoma, he went to a private ranch, and he unalived, say, a water buffalo, and my father-in-law finally got all the meat from that. It was like, I want to say it was like almost 600 pounds of meat, and he didn't have enough room in his freezer, his deep freeze, so they brought some of over to our house. Of course, they always share with us anyway, so we're eating some of that. So we'll have some leftover spaghetti for dinner tonight. We call them planned overs. They're not leftovers, they're planned overs. We deliberately will make a meal. Ooh, brats and sauerkraut with broccoli slaw. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. We do planned overs. So we try to plan meals that we know we can get one more, if not two more, out of it before we have to make a decision of what we want to make. We're perfectly fine with eating something more than one time at a week. You know, I'm okay with that. I'm not like Sheldon that on The Big Bang Theory that had to have, you know, every Tuesday was, what was it, Thai food, and every so many days it was spaghetti, and we don't have to do that. We like planned overs. It just makes it so much easier because so many times it's difficult to make a decision of what you want to eat. And if you can deliberately plan ahead of time, it will allow you to not have to think, oh, what am I going to make for dinner tonight? Oh, I have leftovers. Don't have to worry about it. So we have a couple of meals that we like to do that with. For example, he made taco meat the other night, and we had taco salad. So again, we have planned over with taco salad. We finished that off, and so last night he made the spaghetti. I gave him moral support. I asked him if he wanted my help, and he said no. He's kind of a control freak, so I just let him. Oh, yeah, so the ads are a new thing, Sherry, that YouTube is doing now. They're trying to convince patrons to pay for the ad-free. You always have lunch meat in case you don't feel like cooking, which seems to be a lot lately. Yeah, I understand that. Years ago, my mother-in-law and I would go to a place called Supper Time that we had here in Oklahoma, and I'm sure there's other meal prep out there where you go to a place and then you have a set menu and you would pre-prep things. And so there are 2 meals at a time, and it could be chicken, you know, it could be chicken pot pie, it could be beef fajitas, it could be tacos, and basically you have all this stuff that you freeze. So it just kind of depends upon how you like to prep your meals. All right, so I think that one looks pretty good. That one says follow your heart. We could put something in the bottom here. Let's see if I have a word that would fit, or a phrase. I have create magic. That would look good on those, wouldn't it? Let's glue that down. I think that needs... Yes, you can turn leftovers into casseroles. That is true as well. A lot of times you can do that. Depends on what you like to eat, you know, and how you like to do it. I don't make very many casseroles because you have to heat up an oven and bleh. We do have an instant pot, and we like to use the instant pot a lot. Instant pot a lot. Okay, I know that these hearts are really dark, so I'm thinking of putting Be the Light on top of it. What do you think? Like that? Let's see what we got here. So that would go under here. And what else do I have? How about love? Those say love yourself, so basically kind. So be kind to yourself. Your mom used to make bubble and squeak depending on what the leftovers were. What is bubble and squeak? What does that mean? I mean, I know since you're in Australia, that's a whole different dialect. So what does that mean? Bubble and squeak. I'll have to look that up. Bubble and squeak. Do you have a go-to meal that y'all like to make? That you make quite frequently? We have a tendency to make spaghetti, tacos. We'll make hamburger and then turn them into, instead of eating them as a sandwich, we'll turn it into a salad. We'll make chicken, vegetable, soupy stuff. It's not really soup. It's more robust than that. We'll do 15 bean soup. We add a lot of other stuff to it. I like crescent rolls. You can put all kinds of stuff inside them. With just you cook. Yeah, I'll try to be creative and do smaller portions. You have the Pampered Chef air fryer and love it. Oh, cool. I didn't know they had one. All right, well, we're going to recap what I made here and pick winners of the goodie pack that Robin is giving away. All right, so last week I made these journal cards. And so today, using one of my Scrappy bits that I'd already put together, I made a pocket. And here is another one, same concept. So I think what I'll do is paper clip these together, or I'll put them in a little bag so that they're all together, so they're ready to go into a journal. And then here is another that I did last week, and then this was today. And then we have these two pieces that end up that way. And you could even put a little bit bigger card so long as it doesn't go out of your page on those. So those look pretty cool, I think. Junkie Joe reinitialized. Oh my goodness, this is just so frustrating when it does this. It's like, why? So I don't know if you're connected with me yet because I'm waiting on Junkie Joe. But here's an accordion journal that I've started a while back that I want to work on a little bit to hopefully get some of it finished. All right, so here we are. I think we're back in Junkie Joe. So let me go to giveaway and open giveaway. All right, so y'all get in on the raffle. Let me know that you're back. Okay, I'm back, Janet says. So I think I'm going to work on this next week a little bit, adding some of these elements in here. I've been decorating a few of the pages. Some of them are still blank. Making this kind of a Midori style or a flow where you can take these out if you want. So this is removable. I'm using some yarn to attach the pages into each of these folds is my thought. So we'll work on this a little bit next week and see if I can't get it closer to being completed. And as you can tell, you don't have to rejoin the raffle, but if you haven't joined it, you can do it now. So this will be a nice chunky journal. But the idea is that, you flip through it and you get to the end, and then you flip through it again. You just keep going back through it. So it's kind of an infinity. Oh, you want me to pick 2 people right now, Robin? I can do that. Okay, I'll pick 2 people. All right. So let's pick a winner. The first winner is Sheila, aka the Creative Nana, aka Sheila. I'll get your address to Robin. And then we'll pick another person. Janet Carter. And I'll get Janet's address to you as well. Yippee! Well, I hope you enjoyed today's session. I hope that it inspires you to create, to get in your stash, use up some of those scraps that you already have. If you've got those mixed media gel print papers that you haven't used and you're like, what am I going to do with these? Well, hopefully this gives you some ideas. Cut them up, use the pieces, blend it in with your other papers, scrapbook paper, digital papers, whatever you may have, and create. All right. What else? So I'm going to work on this next week. If you have questions, or if you would come back and tell me what was your favorite part. Oh, Jennifer, you're just coming on. We're leaving. This is what we made. If you have questions, or if you could leave me a message after this video is over of what was your favorite project, I would greatly appreciate it. Y'all have an amazing week. Have a fabulous time creating. Be kind to yourself and to others, because you never know what someone is going through, and maybe a little bit of kindness will make their day that much better. Thank you, Jennifer, for your donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's so very kind of you. Y'all, I greatly appreciate you. I love each and every one of you. I hope you know that. I appreciate you spending the time to hang out with me. I hope it went well for you, Jennifer. I hope you had a good appointment. Y'all have an amazing week. And thank you again so very much for being here. I greatly appreciate you, each and every one of you. Lots of love. Bye, everybody.